Okay, here we have Dwarven Forge Den of Evil Hellscape. This is a limited edition. This is actually the edition 614 of 1500, so there's not too many of these about. As you can see, it's a glowing hell coloured spawn of horror. So there are really great big 3D lumps and mounds here. The floors and the walls glow. It's more than just lava. It's absolutely alive. And Dwarven Forge has done something quite different with this set, in that they've given you flexible walls. So these things are actually, in some cases, meant to come off. And I'm going to take all the walls off just to give you a feel for the pieces you actually are getting. And by putting them all there, you'll see that actually we've got some interesting shaped pieces. That's actually a small slate tile, and you get some small additions that you can add to again vary the look of the tiles to make them different, because again there are some repeating pieces in the Dwarven Forge series. These are also added extra volcanic or flaming, spitting, nasty, erupting mini volcano type things, which you could use in a different Dwarven Forge set if you wanted, but they absolutely perfectly work well with the Den of Evil and come with the set. So everything here you see is within this single box set. It's only a single layer, with a few of the others have been double layers. So I'm going to take out all these small shards just to let you see exactly all the pieces just quickly. Okay, so with the flexible walls, what this means is you have to think a little bit differently. So I could decide that I actually want to just have a straight edge down here, and absolutely can do, but I'd need to use my flexible wall system here to encase it. This could well be the way in, so I'd have perhaps a more traditional corridor coming from a Dwarven Forge passage set, or maybe even a dungeon set if this was in the middle of nowhere. If you were being teleported in, then absolutely this being sealed could be completely reasonable as well. So you can use some or all of the pieces in various combinations, and then of course you populate and dress. This is, I've decided, now going to be a fire elemental, and I've decided this is some evil dude's religiously place. So there's a rather nasty looking altar that I've just popped in there, and the two brave adventurers that just seem to teleport in. This poor little hobbit nearly burns his the hairs on the back of his feet, and this 28mm human peasant fighter who wonders why his torch isn't shedding much light. So you can decide as a DM how illuminated this is, but a fantastic kind of orange glow. The colouring and the paint, etc., really does show up fantastically, and even the edges, what you've got here is even through the edge rocks. If you do see the edges, they're absolutely alive. Dwarven Forge are always doing really amazing detail, and these really do feel hot and really feel like they're glowing. Again, like all the Dwarven Forge pieces, you've got a nice brown felt underlay to protect them both from sliding around, and if you did put them on top of each other, then you're not going to damage the underneath by scraping and scratching, etc. Really hard wearing, and this is a rather fantastic, quite unique set. And although there are, again, like quite a few of the Dwarven Forge set, sorry, you've got repeating pieces. So this is absolutely the same piece, rotated, adding a different wall section here and there, etc. With here we've got these flexible walls. You really don't recognise the fact that you've got the same pieces even when they're neighbouring, unless you're actually looking for them. And again, you can just decorate and colour with a few extra pieces here, there and everywhere to add a little bit of variety to each area, possibly even bridging part of this, etc., so that you've got a little chance for the players to get over this maybe. So again, another fantastic piece, really adds to the collection. The coloration of the rock is a little bit, there's a bit of a hue to purple in here, so it's not as grey as the Dwarven Forge Passage and Cavern Set. I'm going to bring in a couple of pieces just so you can see what I mean. So this is a standard square piece, and there's a bit of reflecting green slimy pool, and I'm going to just pull up an equivalent piece from this set here. and absolutely they'll fit side by side, but you can see that there's a much more of a grey colour here, and this grey has got a kind of purple element, not just because of the orange, there's just subtle different shades. I don't think anyone's going to object putting them neighbouring side by side, but certainly you can tell you're in a Hellscape Den of Evil, but it is more akin to the Cavern Sets, etc. Than any other, and whether you want to then link up using for example this piece, let me just pop that back in so you get the idea. So you could use that as a way in either way, and obviously not particularly this piece. Let me just get a pull in from the side here, a little corridor, so you could have down the end of a winding cavern, you could have hints of glowing floors coming into place. So as you can see here, what I've done is I've just added a bit of a lavery like flow with this purple rocks, which just introduces it. Possibly you could have a few of these as you enter, come down around the bend towards this warm glowing mass of hell that is the Den of Evil Hellscape. So again, this flex walling is a new idea. They use it in a few pieces now. This is one of the newer sets, so there are no bow tie pieces. Here in this example I've shown you, I've covered the bow tie piece, so you can do that, or you can, as I've mentioned before, cut one of the bow tie pieces into two and permanently plug or just temporarily plug the socket. So again, there's no real issue abutting the old and new sets. There's absolutely no issue at all. But I particularly like these small little slate pieces that have got just hints of the heat echoing through. He says dropping it. Echoes of the heat just echoing through these lines that have been painted on. Perfect way of introducing cavernous corridors into this Hellscape set. And good luck to any characters that get in there, and that guy hasn't realised he can put his torch out yet.